This program is going to involve middle school, it's going to involve high school, it's going to involve adults as well. You know, millennials are going to be involved, Gen Zs are going to be involved, Generation X are going to be involved. You and I both know, or we all actually know, that over the years in 2025, there's a drastic reduction in the attention span of everyone. Not only, let me not say young people, everyone in general. People don't want to concentrate to read books. People don't want to like go through an hour class session or an hour of training to like gain some knowledge, acquire some knowledge, right? How are you guys looking to combat this attention span issue?
I got 99.9 problems. This is where we sit down and talk about 99.9 problems. And we ain't scared to talk about them. We got 99.9. Yeah, 99.9. Yeah, 99.9. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back again to season 2, episode 1 of the 99.9 Problems podcast, where we talk only solutions. As you guys already know, always here with the beautiful, delectable, drop-dead gorgeous, dazzling skin, ebony eyes. By the special grace of God, wife material. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my co-host Ethel Dreda to the show.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, for this one, I'm not going to do the introduction. I'm going to allow the young, able gentleman to introduce himself, and then we dive in. Go ahead.
So thank you, Bogus Leslie, for having me on your podcast. As you already know, my name's Jordan Pene from Cameroon and now living in Las Vegas, United States. So the reason I'm here today is talking about a program that is going to have a huge impact especially on our people and projecting our people and setting our people up for a greater future.
That's great.
So you hear me talk a lot about TechStart, which is a program we're going to be hosting this summer, and which is the reason I'm here for. So I'm just going to cut it short, and I'm just going to move on to the next points once you get the mic going.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, before, I know the academy is Caasitech Academy, right? So, like, what really inspired you guys to build this platform?
Okay, so I'm here as firstly in Caasitech. It's some forum. It's in the format of a school.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to put it out there as a school because we have conflicting values with schools. So in place of teachers, we call the teachers coaches. Because the way coaches interact with their players or their students, I'm a huge athlete. So I'm always going to use soccer terms and player terms and coaches terms. It's very different from how teachers interact with their students. And with students, we call them learners. That's going to ease them some pressure, and it brings out some flexibility. For instance, in school, you have things like you have to do homework, and you keep doing your homework so the next person doesn't see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So in Caasitech, we do the opposite of that. We encourage collaboration. We want people to work together for the greater good. So I'm actually here as a coach today, but I was once a learner. So the origin or the creation of the Caasitech was from our coach. His name is Hilary Aben. And he has lived in the US, and he left from Cameroon and came to the US and lived for the US for 15 plus years. And he thought it was time for a change. And it was a time for him to propose our people, the African people. And for him to do the change, he had a procedure, which I'm going to talk later on. And that is how Caasitech came about, and that is how we started building the program from scratch and moving up to what we have today.
Wow, that's
So, this program, right? So I see you guys actually refer to it as an academy. Now, to my next question, right? Or what are like the courses, programs, the trainings that you guys are actually going to be offering with this program?
Okay, so the general or the big picture, Caasitech as a whole is a company that does with various countries. we have Cameroon, we have Nigeria, we have Qatar. And we have various different applications and different programs. So, for instance, in Cameroon, we take various life issues we encounter. For instance, you have issues with technicians. More often than not, if you want an electrician or a plumber to come, it's going to be by mouth to ear. But sometimes people take advantage of the people giving the services, like you have nobody else to call but me. So if I'm coming to your house, I might not do a great job, but because I know you have no choice, but call me later on. Stuff like that come up, we build an app to help resolve. So there's an application called Camelink, which links those who require some work to the workers. Another instance, security is an issue. So especially for females back home. So we build an app called SOS Caasitech. So we have various problems, and my coach always tells me, wherever you find or identify a problem, if you give the solution to that problem and don't think a lot about money, in the future, the revenue is going to come. But try to resolve that problem so you can get your people working.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to come back to your question, Caasitech is, although we call it academy, it's more like a company whereby we train individuals, mostly young individuals, we build them up and they become employees, which in turn now they return the services by building applications and hold other individuals. And our final goal is for us Africans, or let me say immigrants, to be producers of technology, not consumers. So that's the final goal, or that's where we're getting at. So although we call it an academy, it's more like a company that trains its individuals. Then we go ahead and you give back to the community to help African people to put our names on the map.
Okay, so I know back in Africa, we do not have a lot of jobs, you know, as we all know. So with these, you know, students, you groom them and then teach them what to do. How do you solve the problem about providing jobs for them?
So as of I joined Caasitech in 2020, and I left. That was like late 2020, and I left early 2021 because I had to travel and come over. But do you have various programs to get into Caasitech? We have programs called like Maria Cox Challenge and other programs where you get in, and now we have very strict principles. Majorly, you need to have a good attitude. So once you're going through the training program, for you to leave the status of a trainer to a learner or a worker, we need to make sure you have the right attitude. We need to make sure you have the right mindset. And that is how we go through the program. And once we notice that you have the right attitude and the right mindset, then we go ahead and offer you the employment or the status of an employee. So it's not just for anybody to just come in or leave anyhow, because the impact we are looking to create is something greater than just us right now. We're looking to put ourselves on the map. It means even when we are gone, we need people who think the same way, who think in a certain manner, to be able to uplift the company's culture for ages and ages to come. So we see companies like Google's and the Apples and all that. It's not something that started today. So they planted a seed a long time ago. They have their company culture, they have their attitudes, they have their traditions, which you need to work on for them to be the companies they are today. So that's where we're looking to be, and that's how we're building, and that's how we get our various employees.
Okay, so I know in the United States and the Western world at large, we have this month-to-month, weekly pay, but in Africa, there's some days that there's some months that might be slow, and there's some months that are productive. So how do you come about funds to pay your employees, or do you just pay them based on what they make per month, or do you go with like a weekly or monthly payment?
Yes, to answer the question, we go the employees, or let me not say employees, the learners, they are paid bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks. So we just try to bring the Western standards to our people back there, because firstly, we are at Caasitech, we prioritize people first. We believe strongly that once you take care of your people, You don't need to talk a lot. You don't need to put a lot of effort. They're going to deliver. So we pay them bi-weekly. And as I said, it still boils down to the attitude we teach them at the end, at an early stages. Once you teach them the right attitude, they're able to understand things like hard work is something you don't put by the side. You need to work to earn. So we pay them bi-weekly, and the amount of money or the origin of the checks and where it's coming from, I can't really disclose that.
Okay.
But it's nothing to, but the people are taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys actually provide funding or payments
Yeah.
to students while the training is going on. Is that correct?
No, we pay them. No, not like we take care of their school fees.
Yeah.
We give them a paycheck for the work they are doing at Caasitech.
Okay.
So now it's left to them if they want to get the sources or the paycheck to go take care of the outside
Okay.
sources.
So now, right, these
Yeah.
programs that you guys offer at Caasitech, it's this all of these things, right? Is it to come back and work for you guys or for them to find employment somewhere else?
So what we do is we don't gatekeep, because we understand that certain things are out of our control.
Yeah.
In Africa, based on in terms of generations, you see, there's a way our parents think, our grandparents thought, that it kind of transcends, it moves from one generation to the other. So we might train someone, and once the parents or the people around see the skills they've acquired, they feel like that place where they were trained is no longer the place for them.
Okay.
But it's rather unfortunate, because whenever they're given some training, we're not even at 100%.
Yeah.
Where their parents think like they are already wow, that's just like 20%.
True.
They still have a long way to go. But it's extremely difficult for you to explain that to certain parents, that they should leave their kids to get there and grow and actually acquire the necessary experience for them to face the world out there. That once the parents say their kids should get out and maybe try somewhere else, and they need to earn more money for the amount of work they do, we just let them go. So we can't fight or rivalize with the parents and all that. So that's it still boils down to the values we have. We just don't gatekeep, and we don't do a matching or a brother affair with parents and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, you guys had launched an application where the locals can get services from you guys. Does that come with any fee when downloading the application?
So for today, or the program we're talking about right now, the program is called Tech Start. And that is what we're focusing on right now, because the other programs is something, if we have to talk, it's going to take us a while.
Okay.
But it's just like, I just wanted to share that with you, just so you guys know it's like the portfolio of what we have.
Okay.
But we'll mainly be focusing on the Tech Start program, which is what is happening in the US this summer.
Okay.
And that is what is meant for the middle school and high school kids who are here, and also the other programs of those, what is happening in Cameroon. I just wanted to share you guys.
So is that program one day, or like, is it for a couple of weeks?
Okay, so for the Tech Start program, for how long it's going to be during the summer. So we're going to have two groups of people we're tackling here. First of all, we're dealing with the middle school and the high school kids. So once we're dealing with them, we're just trying to orientate them on how their future patterns should look like. So when the program is going to be, we're going to have 2 sessions, 3 weeks each. The first session is going to be from June 17, and we're going to have morning sessions from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's during the summer. So weekends and Mondays, you don't want to touch that for people because they're very busy. So we do Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We take the little kids from 11 to 1 p.m. Then we take the second group of people, which are the adults, those who have started working, those who just graduated from college, even those who are in other fields and who want to try tech. So we take them from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., same days. So we have 3 weeks in June and 3 weeks in July to take care of those people.
So now, like, I want our audience, right, to like, get this information perfectly, because there's people out there watching this who's going to help them, who this is going to help them, or act as a bridge for them to get into tech. Because you mentioned that you're taking people, like anyone, no prior experience, no knowledge, anything.
No one.
Build them from ground up. What are these programs you guys are actually going to be teaching them? Is it building programs, applications? What are those things exactly?
Okay, so what we're doing at during this program at TechStart, the very important thing is we do say that there's a role in tech for everyone, but the priority for us is to be able to match people's personalities to a various tech roles, because it's not just about acquiring the job, it's about sustainability, it's about your life as in general. If you're working, you're earning money, but you're not happy with what you're doing, you may be good. People have various motivations. They have bills to pay, they have their mortgages to pay. We understand that. But after a long-term observation, we notice that if there's a possibility whereby you are happy with what you're doing every day, life is going to be much easier for you. And that transcends to your kids. You put less pressure on your kids, you put less pressure on your family. So the Tech Start program, the way it works is we have an algorithm we came up with that assesses your personality. And from your personality, we can easily determine what tech role matches your personality. I, for instance, when I went to Caasitech, I knew nothing about tech. I knew nothing. But once I went through the program for 3 months, I mean, you're going to school literally for 3 months. You're saying you're going to school for computer science, but I never had to touch a computer for 3 months, because it takes some time for you to understand who you are as a person, where your strengths are and when your weaknesses are. And after evaluation of all that, my career path was outlined to me. And how was it broken down? It was more like I'm someone who pays attention to details. I'm a good communicator. So the roles that were brought out to me were stuff like security and project management. But for me to get to that stage, you don't just put from zero and just start doing security. You need to understand what a computer is, what is a mouse, what is a laptop, what is a motherboard. That is A+. The next thing you need to understand, how does this laptop connect to the internet, the various levels. So that is networking already. Once you're done with that, then you can understand what you're securing. So it's more of the concept of like, if you're a mechanic and you understand every single part of a car, and driving the car is the last thing. Once you happen to find yourself in any situation, once you hear a sound your car makes, you know where it's coming from. So that was my journey, and yours will be different because your personality is different. Yours will be different. Your personality is different. So our goal is to make people aware of who they are as people, then match a specific role to them such that it's easier for them. We must not be the one to take care of them. But once we tell you your role and once we've put it out there who you are, we don't need to do a lot. You yourself, you'll be able to do the work for yourself.
That's very perfect. Just a follow-up to that, right?
Yeah.
You know, us coming to America as immigrants, right, for a bright future, for greener pastures, more often than not, or in recent years, a lot of us from Africa have ventured a lot into tech.
Yeah.
In whatsoever field there is, right? Be it cybersecurity, network engineering, SOC analysts, program management, all of those things, right?
Yeah.
Now, in times where things are hard for families, for everyone, in times where, you know, to get a job is really hard, things have become tougher, right? Now, how do you advise these people out there to do? Because I mean, what you guys are offering here is really great and it's really nice.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to go about it, because it gives you a limelight to be a master at what you are.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there did 6 to 8 months courses. A lot of people out there did crash courses, and of course they're doing great. They're doing well for themselves, right? They've had the experience over the years. Now, to people who are coming in new or who want to get into this new, right? This is where I'm driving at. If it's going to take me a short time to make this amount of money, and I'm not going to go through the stress of learning a lot of things, going through school, right? How do you advise them? Because most people, more often than not, get into courses, all of these IT fields, because a friend is doing it, because my brother, my elder brother, my family, peer pressure advise them to do it. Some are getting into it for the money, right? Now, if they get into those fields that you're talking about, bringing them to understand their nature or what fits well for them, if it's not paying them, or if it's not a field that is giving them that satisfaction with the amount of money which they are looking for, and they want to go into this other one, how do you advise them to actually tackle that? What's your program doing differently than those 6 to 8 months crash courses out there?
Okay. So you made a very solid point that people have various motivations, and that's understandable. People have bills to pay. People have their kids to care for. You have family back home as Africans, you have family you have to take care of. So that's perfectly understandable. So what our programs does differently is, if you've already acquired a job that gives you the necessary income, the only reason why you might be wanting to come here or to get through the program is you are having the income that comes in every month or every 2 weeks, but you feel that there's something missing. You feel like you're not living your life to the fullest. You feel like you're giving too much time or too much pressure with your work, that there is some things that you need to give priority to that you're not giving priority to. So the difference here is, we take your role you're working at. We don't just dismiss the fact or just tell you to get off the role and just get off the street. You can still stay at your role. But what we bring in differently, or what we're making better, is that we are just giving you some light. We're telling you that, okay, this is your personality. This is what is going to be best for you. I don't know how you intend to do it. You can keep your role while trying to learn the job that matches your personality, because you need the income. You cannot afford to stay a month or two without income coming in. So once you've acquired the necessary, we put out a plan for you to go. Once you go through the plan, and once the job that fits you and fits your lifestyle perfectly comes in, then now you can leave the role and go there. So you're already at a good place, but what we're offering is a better place, not just for the job, but for life as a whole. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Makes perfect sense.
I know a lot of people say that you best know someone when you're in the same house with the person. So if you guys plan on, watching people and seeing what their characteristics are and what their personalities are, do you offer your program in person or virtually? Because
Okay. Yeah. So the program is going to be offered virtually. Yes, because we know out here in the Western world, the connection is reliable enough. So everything is going to be done remotely, so that everybody, no matter where you are in the United States, you can have access to the program. So everything is going to be done remotely and virtually.
Okay, so is there any, I don't know if you feel comfortable, is there any fee that comes with it so people are aware of what they're getting
Oh,
into?
definitely. So the program for now is, for the kids is $150, and for the adults is $200. So it's not like we're gonna hide the amounts. Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely that's information people need to be aware of.
Yeah.
So we
Which
give
is
that out there.
which is very much affordable.
Yeah, and
especially-
everything is on the website
Yeah.
too.
Wow.
Mhm.
So now, right?
Yeah.
We're living in a world where it's a digital world.
Yeah.
We're living in a social media world. We're living in a world where there's a lot of distractions. This program is going to involve middle school. It's going to involve high school. It's going to involve adults as well. Millennials are going to be involved. Gen Zs are going to be involved. Generation X are going to be involved. You and I both know, or we all actually know, that over the years, in 2025, there's a drastic reduction in the attention span of everyone. Not only, let me not say young people, everyone in general, like from 0 to 80 years old, the attention span has reduced. The concentration span have reduced. Everybody want to listen to 5 minutes learning stuff. People don't want to concentrate to read books. People don't want to go through an hour class session or an hour of training to gain some knowledge, acquire some knowledge, right? How are you guys looking to combat this attention span issue? How are you guys looking to combat the fact that young people, for example, mostly because we know it's with young people, they have a serious attention span problem, and seldom don't want to like sit to spend time to study or learn something.
That's definitely right. That's 100%. Over the time with the digital age, the times we spend on our phones, the time we spend on our computers, the TikToks, the Instagram, it's easy for us to be distracted. And that's why with the program, you see the days we chose. We do not choose days like Mondays. We do not choose days like Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, because we know that those are easily days where people are distracted. So we chose days like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and the time span per those days are limited to just 2 hours, because all of that has been taken into consideration. You don't want to gatekeep and get people and grab them and keep them on screens for long hours, like 4 or 5 hours. That's tedious. And as you said, for the kids and the adults, the reason why their classes are separate and not joined, because we know definitely you made a huge point about generational difference. The millennials, the X, the Gen Zs and all that, we've taken that into consideration. The program as a whole is called the modern workforce. Why is it called the modern workforce? Is because times have changed. Things are not the same as they used to be before. And the illiterate of this century is not the person who cannot read or write. It's a person who is unwilling to unlearn his old habits and learn the new habits.
Yeah.
So we've taken all that into consideration. And that's why we put this hours, 1 hour, 2 hours maximum. And that's why we separate the kids from the adults, because we know the adults think a certain way. We know the kids think a certain way. So we're going to make their own program in such a way that it's playful and interactive, so it can keep them focused. And we know the way in which we can tackle the adults, because they're going to do their own things in a different way.
Okay.
So all of that has been taken into consideration.
Okay, that's interesting. So after the learners go through the process of knowing what field best fit them, how long does it take for them to learn the skill, go through the whole learning process before getting out there into the job market?
Okay, that's an amazing question. So as I earlier told you, I'm one of the learners, so I'm going to take myself as an example. So once you go through that process, it brings out a certain degree of self-awareness. So once you have the plan out there for you, now it's a matter of you, and you. For instance, when I got into the US in 2021, I just got out of Caasitech, that was April. So my first semester when I had to start school was in August. So between April and August, no one said anything to me. I think my dad and my coach, who is Hilary Aben, he made me to understand that, okay, having some certification is going to be good for this and so part, the part I explained earlier. But no one said anything for me. I put out a time. I drew my own schedule. I said, I need to take 2 months to acquire a certification. Nobody gave me any material. I went online, I searched for the material, I studied. I took 2 months. I had my CCNA certification. And then I was close to my school reopening in August once I got my CCNA. I had about a period of 20 days. I said, I need an extra certification. And I took 20 days to study and acquire the Security Plus certification. So the information we're giving out there, or the light we're giving, is such important and heavy information that you don't need anybody to follow you up. You have the ability, and the information is out there. We'll always be there to guide you, because after these 3 weeks or this 2 months program, we have an extra program that is going to take much more longer, whereby if there are people who need step-by-step guidance into acquiring the role, as in orientation for the job, resume building and all that, that's a whole different thing. You guys can come, but I promise you, with the information we give you, you don't need anybody. You can have the ability to get where you want in life.
That's
Okay.
perfect.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Because, over the past 12 months to 1.5 years or so, the job market has shrunk. It has sunk really down to the extent that people getting out of jobs are really not even getting back in. They're not having anything to fall back to getting any job soon. With that being said, do you guys help these people, or all your students, help them to build the resumes? And how are you guys enabling them to ensure that, okay, they apply for these jobs in a way that they can back probably at least an interview each week? Because I know that's going to be tough, but yeah, in right now, what's the strategy to ensure that, okay, in due time, right, all your time and your money that you've put in, it pays off?
So the strategy, prior to the strategy put in place, is what I can tell you, what I can guarantee you is, once you are someone who knows what you're doing, in a job of, let me just say, random example, 10 employees, if they're laying off 8, you're going to be one of the 2 that are going to stay. Even if your role is general manager, CFO, whatever, and they say the only 2 roles that are left is a sweeper and a dry cleaner, they're going to get you and keep you as a dry cleaner because they know your potential, they know your value. So the information we're giving out here and what we instill in, the values we instill into our people, is we try to make them, in French they say indispensable.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be extremely difficult for someone to get rid of you because the energy you bring in the room,
The value.
your work rate, how you do or how you impact your job,
Yeah.
is something that they are going to be aware, or they are definitely know that they're going to be aware that they can't get it from elsewhere. In terms of the strategy, we can't guarantee you 100% that you're going to have your job for 100% for sure. So we're not going to stand here or give out some wrong information like we're always going to give a job. So all we can do is we can help in your job search process, working on your resume, keep touch with you, so we work together as a team, because life happens. You can never ever imagine all the scenarios or envision every scenario. But what we can guarantee is we are always going to be there to assist you until you get your next job or next role. But we're not going to stand here and say 100% that we're going to give you a job. No, we're not giving a job. We're here to guide people to get to where they want to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you guys have all this good stuff in your academy, but do you guys sometimes offer scholarship programs to some of your promising students?
Oh, definitely. So the way it works, most of the people, because I was one of the first batches, and most of the people I work with at the Caasitech Academy, most of them right now are either in Qatar or Nigeria. So based on the work you put in place, you get promotions. So like, I think, I'm not even saying most, all the people I was in class with, those guys are in Nigeria, they get promotions. So we definitely understand the fact that there's high value in recognizing and acknowledging the efforts people put in place. So once we observe and we see that you're putting the necessary work and you work for us, we're definitely going to give you the promotions you deserve.
Okay.
So the promotion is like leaving from one branch, which is Cameroon, to Nigeria, moving from one branch from Nigeria to Qatar. And in the future, and the way things are going, we plan on having a better branch this way so we can try to have everybody on one place.
Okay.
So that's how we're trying to spread our wings out.
I know that in a lot of organizations, there are always, challenges people face. So what are some of the challenges both the coaches and the learners face while going through this process?
Yeah, the major challenge is the mindset of the people we're coming from. That's the very, very big challenge, because it's so sad, I would say, but the only way to change things is what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can only focus on what you can control, and what you can't control,
Yeah.
you just let it go. Because some people just think so short term.
Yeah.
They kind of greedy. They don't think long term. Like, you see, you train a child, the child is barely walking. Once the parent sees that the child can maybe print out a flyer, meanwhile the child does not know how to do a computer. It's like, no, that place is not good for you anymore. You need to go to a bigger company where they can pay you for the work you do. Meanwhile, the child could have stayed there maybe a year, 2 more, and not only limit itself to flyers, need to videography, all those kind of things. So the major challenge we're dealing with is the mindset of the people we're coming from. And as I said, for where we're proposing ourselves or where we're seeing ourselves, it's very important for us to start by filtering, working with people with the right attitude, working with people with the right mindset, people who are not selfish, who are not greedy, people who think long term, people who are willing to put some work in and reap the fruits 2, 5, 4, 8 years from now. So those are the major challenges we're dealing with, trying to reschedule and trying to reset people's mindset. It's extremely tough, but we can only focus on what we can control.
Okay.
That's really nice, man. Because I mean, I really admire this, because this is actually part of what we call giving back to the community, as we can say. Because to come here in the United States, like your mentor, learning skills, and then trying to like build up an academy like this to help not only here in the United States but Africa in general. Because trust me, in the near future, like of course, it's already even happening. Africa is gonna be a powerhouse for a lot of things. Technology, to be precise, like you mentioned, we want to empower our kids back home from everything, whatever thing there is to offer. In as much as making this tool, it's tech, making flyers, videography, building editors, film, like extraordinarily talented filmmakers, people in, all of these fields is very important. So now, like when you say tech, because I know when you mention Caasitech, most people are actually going to think it's all gonna deal with the computer or technology or whatever. Right. I want you to just enlighten them, and let them know like which other fields are, because I know most things, of course, deal with the computer, but of course, when people hear about tech, especially most of our people back home, it's all about coding, typing, building softwares, all of those
the
stuff.
black screen, the
Yeah,
movies.
just educate them more on all of the other fields, because I know you mentioned mostly related to tech. What are the all other fields? Because I know you mentioned making flyers, videography, all of those things.
Yeah, for sure. So tech is a very, very, very broad area.
Yeah, really broad.
That a lot of people tend to minimize.
Yeah.
As you rightly said, when people hear tech, they always think of the dark screen, the movies, the FBI and all that.
Exactly.
But it's not all that. So when we say that tech is for everybody, you just need to take time to be able to see where you fit in. And some in the nearest past, my mentor, he was on a podcast with in Dallas, and he made mention of people who write mails. That job roles are something called OCM or ACM, like just writing mails. There's a role for them where they earn about 6 figures. Wow. But you need to be able to know that exists. So when we say tech, there's a lot that comes with it. There's database, there's networking, there's programming, there's graphic designing. There's a lot of different fields whereby every single person can fit in based on your personality. So there's space, and there's enough space for everybody to find his own place there. So it's not just the programming and the coding.
Okay, great. So is there any website where people can go on there and read more about the academy?
Yeah, sure. The website is www.caasitechacademy.com. That is the main website. But if you want to see like the various tools or the portfolio of applications we have, you go to caasitech.co. That is CO at the end without the M. Okay. So you're going to have all the information you need.
Okay, great. And what's the best advice you would give to people watching, given the fact that you've been through the academy? Yeah.
So the advice I can give, or what I live by every day, is your mind is your most powerful weapon. If you want to, you will. If you don't want to, you'll find excuses. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's the best excuse I can give.
Guys, you guys have heard it all. You've heard it all. Reach out to them, visit their website. They have all their social medias. We're gonna put them up there. Reach out to them. Register as fast as you can.
Oh, by the way, for registration, we have 100 seats to fill. Exactly. So once we get 100 seats, we're not taking any more. Okay. Because we don't want a situation where you have a lot of people and you can't focus. Yeah. So 100 seats maximum. Once we have 100, that's it. We're not taking any more people.
And then it goes like here, Africa, any country, wheresoever. Yeah.
Yeah. So for Africa, they're gonna do in person because their connections is not reliable as not as for the Western world. So for this program that is June and July, they can do it remotely. For those in Africa, we're putting on a program in August and September, whereby they're going to go in person and have their own classes because they cannot really rely on their connection. So that's the game plan, and everything is on the website. So www.caasitechacademy.com. The information is out there.
Exactly, guys. You guys have heard it all. Like he said, the mind is powerful. It's all about making the choice to pursue your dreams. It doesn't have to be a job where you put on suit, sit behind a computer. No. Tech is very broad. Your field is available for you. You just got to figure out that God-given gift that God-given talent which is hiding in you. You know, a lot of videographers are watching this. A lot of, people who can build programs, build applications. A lot of people who are watching this who are gonna create an impact in the future. You just don't know that yet. And all of those talents, all of those things you have in you can come out and show themselves whenever you give yourself an opportunity to learn something new, not just talk on what you've been doing for the past how many years. So reach out to them, register as fast as you can, because you guys heard him. It's limited, only 100 people. And of course, all over the United States and in Africa. The race is on. Go ahead.
Yes, guys. And Jordan left all the way from Las Vegas just to be here with us to bring this juicy and fruitful information to us, to create awareness about the academy and, impact our lives. So please do go on the website, check it out. It might change your life. And thank you all for always watching. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Follow, like, subscribe, share. Thank you and have a great day.